Welcome to the damage assessment training for the engineering damage assessment application. When you log into your laptops out in the field, we used to log into ENG, this computer, but now you'll just log in regular just under your BCC, just like you normally log in to your laptop each morning. So once you log into your laptop, you'll see your icon on the screen for the damage assessment 2011. You want to click on it and it'll bring up your application. Alright, I just want to go do an overview of all the tools, and so just everybody is familiar with how to use a program. Alright, this first tool up in the top left is your save tool, and all that does is save a picture. So if I was to save this now and close the program down and open it back up, it would just come up with the same picture that I'm looking at now. If I was to zoom in like that and click save, then the map would open up as pictured. So I'm just going to come back to the full extent and just click on the save button. This next button is your options, and you won't ever have to mess with that. This is something that I use to just make sure everything is set to the correct path, so don't worry about that tool. And also the next tool, this is the layers tool. It just tells you what layers can be identified and what layers being edited. Again, you won't have to worry about that. That is something that I go ahead and set up for you guys. This next tool is the zoom to full extent tool. So if I come over here and click on the zoom tool and I click on the full extent, the little world, it just zooms it back out to the entire county. So that just gives you a quick overview. These are the go back to previous extent buttons. So if you want to click on that, if you're out in the field somewhere, let's just zoom in real quick, and you're down here and you want to zoom to your last location, you can do that. You can go back and forth. So let's go back out to the full extent. Alright, now to show you the measure tool, we'll show that in a second. First I'm going to show you the find a street, pond, or bridge tool. So you click on the little binoculars and you can start typing a street name, or you can select it from the drop down list. You can also zoom to a pond, have all the ponds in here, and they're named by the subdivision that they're in or the street that they're off of. And also if you quickly zoom to a bridge, I've got all the bridges in there. For right now, let's go ahead and zoom to a street. So let's go find a street, and I'm going to go to Emmons Lane. There it is. You can click on it. You can click OK, or you can hit the enter button. And as you can see, it quickly zooms to the full extent of that road. I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit using the zoom out tool. Just a couple of times. Alright, so let me show you the measure tool. So if you need to measure a road or anything, you just click on the little measure tool, drop one point, and drop another. And if you look down in the lower left hand corner, click on this green proceed to attribute capture button, and it'll tell you the distance to and from. So you may or may not use that tool, but it's there. Alright, so let me just do an overview of all of the layers that's going on here. So let me zoom back out. First of all, we've got our damage assessment zones all in different colors, and you'll be assigned those zones depending on the damage of the storm. And alright, so let me zoom back in. Let me go back to my previous extent. Alright, some of these layers, the streets are obviously they're in black, but they're also, some streets are in red. Anything that's in red means it's going to be private or state owned or federal or whatever. So anything red we do not assess. So we want to come back. Let me just show you. For instance, these are the ponds. See, those are, anything in red, that's a private pond. And the blue ponds we do assess. Anything other than red we do assess. So let me come back here to Emmons Lane. Okay, this is your zoom in tool. You can click on it and you can click and drag a box to zoom in, or you can kind of click once and it'll zoom in, just kind of different extents. Also get the zoom out tool. You just click on it once and it zooms you out. So I'm going to zoom back in. And another helpful tool, maybe as you're driving down the road, you can have a custom zoom in extent. And I've got these all preset, so if you want to go to 100 feet or 200 feet and so on. So as you're driving, you can also, here's the pan tool, little hand. You just hold down the left mouse button and driving down the road just very quickly. You can also, if you're using a mouse, you can use the middle scroll wheel to zoom in and zoom out. That's just another little feature. And as you can see, when I zoom in and zoom out, some of the layers, for instance, like the parcel layers and the labels, they start turning on and off. I'm just going to zoom in here. Alright. And let me just go back over the tools again. This is a select tool. I'll show you how to use that in a minute. Now these are your layer tools. This is what's going to be most important when you're using this damage assessment application. That's what you want to most be familiar with. So let's say if we had an incident and let's say there was some damage to this pond off of Dog Track Road. These are the layers that we are responsible for. You've got your bridge, any damage to county maintained bridges, any county drainage structures, county ponds, and county roads. And I put signs in here just in case if we ever have to do that, but more than likely that's going to be handled by the traffic division or the road department. So really the four ones that we're concerned with is going to be these four. So you've got your bridge, your drainage, pond, and road. So let's say we have some damage to this pond right here. So I'm going to zoom in. You want to click on the layer that you want to start editing. So I clicked on the pond layer. Then this is the important part that a lot of people forget. You want to click on the point tool. That allows you to actually drop a point. So I want to drop it right on top of this pond and left click. Then the pond pops up. And if you notice, some of the information has already been filled out. This number 572 is automatically populated because I put the point right on top of the pond. Alright, then you would fill out the information. So it's off of Emmons Lane. And you could put a crossroad if you wanted to. Dog track road. Just any information that'll help us locate this. Started typing in Dog Track Road. And again, you can use your scroll wheel on your mouse if you have a mouse to scroll to. Alright, and you want to make sure anything in red on the form, that means it's mandatory. So I have to fill out damage event road, damage event date, the pond ID, and the description at minimum in order to actually successfully save this form. So make sure to click on your damage event date. Excuse me. And let's say there was chain link fence here, and 50 feet of it got knocked down by a huge tornado. Yeah. And you can come in and just fill out the form. So there's some slope repair. And as you see, it can automatically creates a total event cost down here at the bottom, and in each individual cost. So you could go through and fill all this information out if you like, whatever is damaged. And then you just want to give it a small description of the damage. Fence down. And then when you're done, you want to make sure you hit the OK button. Don't come up here and use the X button. Make sure you always click the OK button. And as you can see, now we have a little duck for your pond. So now you've successfully dropped a point and given it a damage assessment cost. Now if you want to go back into this point, you want to make sure you're on the right layer, because it's a pond layer, so make sure that's selected. You want to click on the black select tool, and you want to double click, and it'll bring back open that form if you needed to go back in and edit it. And you can click OK. Now if you wanted to delete this pond, again, you want to make sure you're on the pond layer. Click on the pond layer, click on the select tool, And if you click it once, you can kind of see there's a black outline. It's kind of hard to see maybe. That means it's selected. Then you can either hit the delete key on your keyboard, or you can hit this red X and it says, are you sure you want to delete this feature? And you click yes. So there you've successfully deleted and added a pond. Alright, so let's come on down the road. Like I said, you can use your custom zoom extents if you like, or you can use the zoom out tool if you want to do it, but you're just driving down the road. Actually, let's come down to this bridge. Alright, let's say this bridge had some damage to it, and the bridges are these little green points. Alright, so if I want to drop a bridge point, this is your bridge. So click on that layer. Again, make sure to click on the point tool, which is that little dot. And then make sure to click exactly on the bridge. And as again, you can see it automatically get populated with the information, the 480, 132, because I clicked right on the point. So that's already filled out. Make sure you click on anything in red, as I mentioned, is mandatory. So, and then just start filling out your information. There's a concrete pile. And I know that some of you guys may not be familiar with bridge structures, what a stringer and girder is. I know a lot of you guys are, but if you're not, let me show you where else you can see some of that information. So let me go ahead and let's say the concrete pile was damaged, and make sure to click the OK button. Alright, you can come over here and you can click on this little question mark, and it'll bring up the damage assessment guide. And this just tells you exactly what I'm telling you, just about the different tools. But at the very end of the document, if you scroll down, I've taken pictures, or I've gathered pictures and labeled them with the different structures that you'll be assessing. So as I mentioned, here's some of the bridge structures. What a guardrail is, what a bridge end, wing wall. And again, this is at the end of the damage assessment guide document. Close that out. So there I've successfully added my point. And let's go ahead and let's drop. Let's say there's some damage on the road here. I'm going to zoom out. Oops. And again, anything in red is private. These are private ponds, so I would not be assessing those. But these are county maintained roads, and you can always use the identify tool if you want to click on a parcel and see information about that, or you can click on a street and it'll tell you information about that. So let's say there's some damage to the road on Carrier Drive. So I'm going to click on the road tool up here. That's a layer. Then click on the point tool and then drop a point. And again, this is Carrier Drive, so I can start typing. And I can use my scroll, Carrier Drive. Make sure to click on the damage event date. Not really a crossroad here. I could put an address if I wanted to. It's like at 128 Carrier Drive. And let's say there was a huge pothole. Say it was 10 feet by 10 feet and just swallowing up cars. Huge pothole. And again, this gives you a total damage assessment cost based on it's based on a few years ago, some of these figures, but it still should be somewhat close. Alright, so you want to click OK, and there we've successfully added a road damage. And then lastly, I'll show you the drainage structure. Just say that there was some kind of drainage structure over here on this road, like a ditch or a culvert. So you're going to click on the drainage damage icon layer. You're going to click on the point tool, and then drop your point. And again, we're on carrier drive. And if you wanted, like I said, any information you can give is vital. So if people need to go back on the field and reassess this, click on the damage event date and just start filling out the information, the size of and the number of pipes, and let's say driveway culvert was damaged. Again, there's your total cost, and all this gets saved. You don't have to, this automatically gets saved when you click OK. And there, so now we've successfully added your bridge, your drainage, pond, and a road. Another tool up here, if you want to click on the team information, that's the first screen that popped up. And you will always want to make sure you enter your starting and ending mileage, and make sure you strike correct driver, laptop user, and the correct vehicle, because all this gets reimbursed if we are eligible for FEMA reimbursement. So we want to keep track of that information. So you can bring that information up at any time by clicking on this little tool up here. So let me zoom back out, and you can see where we've added the points down here. Okay, and that about covers it. And when you click on the exit tool, since I've saved some of the layouts, this just is asking you if you want to save what the map looks like right now, just like clicking that save button. So I'm going to say no. And then it's going to ask you just a reminder, make sure you enter your ending mileage. So let's click yes and make sure I've already entered it in, but let's just enter something else in. Click OK, and that's it.